What's in your water? Water is everywhere. Nearly 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered in water. However, less than 1% of that water is drinkable. With such a small percentage available for consumption, water quality is very important. All plants, animals, and humans depend on water to live. Humans can live weeks without food, but can only survive a few days without water. We can get our water from a variety of sources. If you live in the middle of the city, you drink city water that is treated. If you live out in the country, your water probably comes from a well. Some people even buy purified bottled water. No matter where you get your water, it is essential for human life. But do you really know what's in the water you're drinking? My problem was from water samples taken from city, well, bottled, river, pond, and rainwater. Which one has the least amount of bacteria? Another question is which one has the most. My hypothesis is that the bottled water will have the least amount of bacteria because it is chemically treated and prepared for public consumption. My second hypothesis is that the pond water will have the most bacteria because pond water sits still, allowing the bacteria to grow. Pond water also contains different animals such as fish, insects, and frogs. Pollution also contaminates the water. For this experiment, I need a black marker for labeling the petri dishes and the collection bottles. I also need to buy a bottle of regular drinking water from the grocery store. The rest of my materials I already had in an Easy Gel introductory kit I won in the virtual science fair. The kit included 11 bottles of Total Count Easy Gel, 11 tetrazolium pre-treated petri dishes, 10 sterile bottles for collecting the samples, and 10 sterile 1 milliliter droppers. For this experiment, I had no control group because I was comparing the different water samples. To begin the experiment, I labeled each collection bottle with a source and added the date at the time of collection. I was careful not to touch the inside of the bottles or caps when I was dealing with them. I collected the city water sample from my kitchen sink by placing the collection bottle under the faucet. I did the same with my grandmother's sink, which was the well water, that I did with my sink. When I was collecting my sample from the river, I simply scooped out the water with the collection jar. I used the same operation when I was collecting the pond water. For the rainwater, I waited for a rainy day and put the open collection bottle outside. After it was about halfway full, I went out, got it, and put the lid on it. I poured the bottled water straight from the manufactured bottle to my collection bottle. After I collected all the water samples, I labeled the bottom of the petri dish with the source and the date. That way, I was able to identify which one was which later on. After I gathered all the samples, I used the 1 milliliter dropper to extract one of the water sources and squirt it into a bottle of Total Count Easy Gel. I put the lid on the bottle and mixed by swirling. When it was good and mixed, I then poured the mixture into its labeled petri dish, covering the bottle completely. I then let it stand until it was good and solid, which took approximately 45 minutes. After that, I placed the petri dish into our kitchen oven with a thermostat set on 95 degrees Fahrenheit for 48 hours. After the 48 hours, I took it out of the oven and counted the number of red dots. Each red dot represented a CFU, colony forming unit, per milliliter of water. I will use the same exact steps with each water sample. I recorded each petri dish's number of red dots in my notebook. The first time I checked the petri dishes, the river water had 29 colonies, the pond water had 7, rainwater had 1, while the well, bottle, and city water had none. The next day when I checked, the only change was that the rain had 3 colonies. In the final check the following day, the river water had 37 colonies, rainwater had 4, and pond water had 15. All the others stayed the same. My first hypothesis, that the bottled water had the least amount of bacteria, was correct. The bottled water, city, and well had no bacteria. My second hypothesis, that the pond water had the most bacteria, was wrong. The pond water only had 15 colonies, while the river water had 37.